how are people supposed to get educated about these topics if you're not going to educate me? Instead, you're going to dismiss me. I think the perfect teachers is those who've experienced it.
So for you, it's Garcelle's job to educate Dorit.
It's not Garcelle's job to educate Dorit. I'm saying I wish that Garcelle would have.
I don't know if we're all on the same page. I'm a little bit confused.
I think what Izzy is saying is, how
Wait,
can you...
no. I don't need a translator for what Izzy is saying.
I know. I don't
want to hear Izzy's perspective.
I know.
Izzy's very capable.
Hey, it's a brotherhood! Woohoo!
Do you think Garcelle is justified to describe Dorit as a Karen? Or does Dorit need to be more cautious with her word choice?
You're saying it to embarrass her, and that's not okay.
We are having a good time, you guys.
If you have to say it like that, we're not having a good time.
I'm saying that because you just attacked me.
Just for the record, I didn't attack you. We were having a conversation. There are 3 words you don't say to black women. You don't say aggressive, you don't say attack, and you don't say angry. It feels like an unconscious Karen behavior with you.
I'm for Dorit in this situation. You know, I think it's very interesting to me that Garcelle does not want to be labeled or stereotyped, but then a second after you say you don't want to be stereotyped, you're going to refer to Dorit as a Karen, or her behavior is like a Karen, which I just find completely wrong because that's a dangerous accusation. So there's a contradictory there, and I'm just not here for that. So I definitely. Well, she says she doesn't want to be labeled, and then she's labeling Dorit as a Karen.
No, it's a contradiction. Not contradictory.
You're right.
Tamar?
Sorry, I have to. I see what Garcelle is saying here. We all know that she knows that she was, well, before Annemarie, she was the only black woman onto this Beverly Hills, a predominantly white show. I feel as though she wanted to educate Dorit on what the word does to the black community, especially women wouldn't like to hear as far as, being attacked, being an angry black woman, just being irate out of nowhere. But I can also see how Dorit is just a lack of ignorance. I mean, not a lack of ignorance. It's just a little bit of
She doesn't like that.
It's just a little bit of ignorance that she, could have those undertones and have that conversation, because she's not looking at it as undertone racism. She's looking at it as, this is something that we say on these shows. Like, you've seen it on Atlanta Housewives. Phaedra used the word attacked. Kenya also said she was attacked before. Kenya was attacked, for real.
I would like to piggyback off what Tamar said. When she first came on the show, Dorit labeled her as a bully.
It's like a bully.
Oh, stop.
And I'm not someone to be bullied.
Stop it right now. I am not bullying you. I don't bully anybody.
When she has made topics about, I've had Filipino, Hispanic, black people all working at my home. And Garcelle said, is it just the people of color who work at your home? And she said, no, my mom's best friend is black. So a friend of a friend of a friend who knows a cousin so removed is black.
We've had a lot of people that work for us that are very multicultural. I've had a lot of black and Hispanic and Filipino and,
But is the brown people only help at your house?
No.
Okay.
No,
In fact, my mother's best friend is black.
When Erika was swearing at Garcelle's child, Dorit not only just stood there, but she also laughed about it. And when Garcelle was trying to explain herself, Dorit was instantly kind of defensive. You could tell Dorit's a little bit tone deaf because she responded, well, I'm Jewish.
Dorit apologized. Dorit apologized.
And that's amazing.
Dorit apologized multiple times.
Exactly.
What more does Garcelle want?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's happened.
So
It's happened.
Dorit
acknowledges that she made an error. She made an error. Garcelle expressed it. Dorit listened and she acknowledged it and she apologized. Garcelle is hammering this and she's not done.
Yeah, she's not done. And I feel as though it's because she's also not just going to take an apology. You know what I mean? She's going to accept that apology and let it wait for a long time to build that relationship again. And it could have something to do with her past. Like she's been hurt by a lot of people and she has a lot of trust issues, possibly. Not saying she does, but just saying to open up to people with someone who's laughing at someone who cussed out, your child.
I acknowledge that Dorit apologized. She's very apologetic. She's very understanding to move forward. And it's a learning moment. I don't think we should cancel or condemn. I think it's a moment that we can really look at to understand how, certain language can make people feel. So I do appreciate Dorit in her confessional and in the moment for being apologetic, because I feel like it was a breakthrough. I think if it was another...
Hold on, Victor. Izzy, before you jump in, 'cause I know you may have a point. I want to say that, Tamar, I am glad that Garcelle is having these tough conversations in person and not just in a confessional the way she typically does. But I do think that it is a trigger when you're calling someone a Karen, knowing what that does to the audience, how a swarm of negativity could come at Dorit's direction. So yes, Victor, Dorit is going to defend herself because that type of label, it does something. Garcelle knows what that type of label does. It gives the impression, it suggests that Dorit has a racial bias when Karen, that word Karen is used.
I think the word Karen kind of encompasses someone who has those microaggressions. And I think that's what Garcelle experienced. Again, I don't think it's productive to call someone a Karen, but I do think she had validity within her frustration. I honestly think if Erika used the word attacked, I don't think Garcelle would have called her a Karen or even reacted a type of way.
I want to get to Izzy.
Dorit and Garcelle, they made up at Garcelle's movie premiere and said, we want to move forward. For me, as someone who wants to move forward, I would always try my best to, do it in a friendly way. When Dorit said the word attack, Garcelle immediately was offended and hurt. I'm trying to understand, for someone who I'm trying to build a relationship with, like Dorit, for example, why couldn't Garcelle be a friend and explain to me that that word was offensive? Instead, she just dismissed Dorit and said, I'm not going to educate you. How are people supposed to get educated about these topics if you're not going to educate me?
So I'm not here to educate you. That's not my job. I don't have the bandwidth to do it.
I think the perfect teachers is those who've experienced it.
So for you, it's Garcelle's job to educate Dorit.
It's not Garcelle's job to educate Dorit. I'm saying I wish that Garcelle would have, so that this... I wish that Garcelle had explained to Dorit why it was a trigger in the moment. It's not her job to educate, but it was a learning moment. She could have explained it. She doesn't have to, but I would have liked that to happen. Am I lagging?
Oh, no. No, I was processing. I thought you said that Dorit, Garcelle should educate Dorit. I thought that's what you said. Maybe I heard it wrong.
I'm just saying I wish she would have educated Dorit. I'm not saying that she has to or she needs to be, but how do you expect people to learn if you're not going to tell them or educate them? Instead, you dismiss her and said, I'm not going to educate you on that.
Yeah. Victor?
Tamar?
Victor? What do you have to say?
I don't know if we're all on the same page. I'm a little bit confused.
I think what Izzy is saying is,
No. I don't need a translator for what Izzy is saying. I need to hear it from Izzy, Mitch. Izzy, didn't you have notes for this?
Okay, come on.
No,
listen.
no. At the start
Listen. I
Well,
will
you're
say.
aware.
But hold on. Wait, Victor. What is he saying is?
No, I don't. But I don't.
No, I know.
Izzy's very capable